we are doing chapter number 3, that is group behavior. Now, as far as group behavior is concerned, the communication that happens within a group is the most basic factor which influences the behavior of individuals in the group. So today we are going to examine the topic organizational communication. And in this topic, we will be talking about 4 different aspects of communication. First of all, we will talk about various dynamics of communication. Then we will talk about the flow of communication in the organization. Then we will discuss about the informal channel or the grapevine. And finally, we will talk about the available business communication channels. So first of all, let us see certain dynamics of communication. Now, in the dynamics of communication, we will touch upon these 3 topics. That is effective communication, barriers, and communication process. So first of all, let us see what is an effective communication. Now, whenever we do any kind of communication, there is a purpose behind it. We always want that the receiver of communication must respond to us either as a reply or as an action. Now, this response will be according to our purpose. That means we want some desired result. So, effective communication is one in which we get our desired result. When the message received is very close to the message sent, then we can say it is effective. Also, the act of communication must involve as minimum encoding as possible, and it should help in building trust between the sender and the receiver. So having said that, we can understand that organizations must communicate with minimum amount of words, or organizational communication is effective if we can communicate with minimum required words. Also, when people communicate within the organization, there is a strong trust built between them, and this trust is only built when there are no misinterpretations or misunderstandings. So, we can say that when the receiver of communication understands exactly as the sender wants them to understand, then we can say that the communication was effective. We have studied this in detail in semester 3 in effective technical communication. Now, moving on to the next topic of dynamics of communication, we are going to talk about barriers. Again, this topic we have done in effective technical communication. Let us again understand what are the barriers of communication. So, the factors that hampers the communication, they all are called the barriers to communication. In other words, whatever stops the communication from happening in effective manner can be called as barriers. Now, barriers can occur at different point of time in the communication, like barriers may arise at the sender's end, at the receiver's end, it can be in the channel or through the environment, it can be anywhere. Also, barriers are of many types. For example, barriers can be related to the internal human psychology or behavior, that is the attitude of a person. So it is related to the psychology of the sender as well as the receiver. And because of that differences, there will be some misunderstanding. So these kinds of barriers we can call as the intrapersonal barriers. Now, another barriers are the extrapersonal barriers. That means that barriers which arises from outside. So any barriers that occurs in the channel. For example, if a class is going on and 10 students outside the class are making noise, then that also creates a barrier because the students are not able to hear the teacher. The third type of barrier is the organizational barrier. Now, the organizational barriers in itself consist of the intrapersonal barriers and the interpersonal barriers because organizations are after all made of human beings. But there are other barriers which are particularly identified as organizational barriers which arises just because of the structure or the working or the system of the organization. For example, people have fear of their superiors, and that is why they are hesitated to share their views. Again, organizations having a lot of hierarchy, there we can find transfer of stations as a barrier. It is difficult to transfer any communication from the topmost level to the bottommost level in the same manner, because when it travels downwards or maybe even upwards, then it goes through a lot of transfer stations where people may either delete something, add their own understanding, or may even change the message. So that is why there is a barrier. Again, information overload also acts as a barrier. So there are so many barriers in the organizations, and these barriers have to be taken care so that effective communication is done. So now let us see how a communication process happens. Now again, this topic we have done in effective technical communication subject of semester 3. But again, we will be doing this topic in brief. Now first of all, in a communication process, there is a sender. That is, there is a person who wants to share something with another person. Now this person has an idea in the mind. So this step is called ideation. But the ideation has to be converted into some message which the receiver understands. So that step is called encoding. Now once the encoding is done in the mind of the sender, the message is then sent to the receiver via a channel. Now for any communication to happen, a channel is required. For example, when we speak with each other, we use air as a channel. Or when we are in an online meeting, then we are using internet as the channel. Or when we are talking on the phone, we are using the service provider's network as our channel. Now the message will pass through this channel and the receiver will receive it. Now the receiver will either read the message or listens to the message and try to understand. When the receiver tries to understand the message, the receiver will convert the message back into some idea which they can understand. This step is called decoding. Now after the decoding is done, the receiver will respond to the sender. Now this response will be either in the form of a reply or an action. But it is according to the understanding of the receiver. Now the response is also called a feedback. And why it is called a feedback? Because through response, the sender can understand whether the receiver has understood the message completely or not. And if not, then the sender will again have to communicate. So this is how the communication process happens. But there is one more important factor which influences the communication, and that is the environment of the communication where the communication happens. The importance of environment is also very high. For example, when you have to teach people, you require a classroom environment. You cannot do teaching in any open environment wherever you want. There has to be some kind of environment which will help the communication to happen in an effective manner. So this is how the communication process happens. And so in organizations also, whenever people communicate with each other, this kind of process will happen. Now let us see what is the flow of communication in the organization. So for that, first of all, let us consider that there is an organization which has a balanced structure like this. So here we have taken an example that there is one person, that is president, who is at the topmost level, and below that president there are 3 people, we can call them as vice presidents, and they are related to different departments. For example, one is related to production department, another to the marketing department, and the third to the financial department. So this we have just taken for an example. It is not necessary that all organizations have the same kind of structure, but this is for the simplicity of our understanding. Now, in this kind of structure, communication can be in different directions. So, first of all, when the president wants to instruct the vice presidents about something or wants to share the vision with them or the plan with them, then the direction will be a downward direction. Again, the vice presidents will also have many people below them, like the managers, the supervisors, the laborers, etc. So they will also download the information, and so even there also there will be a downward communication. Now, communication doesn't happen only in downward direction. It also happens in the upward direction. For example, the supervisor wants to ask something to the vice president, or the vice president wants to ask something to the president, or they want to take some advice or some guidance from them, or they want to take some permission from them, or they want to report to them what they have done till now. So for all these purposes, the communication direction will be upwards. Again, there are many interdepartmental things which comes into consideration when an activity is going on in an organization. For example, the marketing department will have to find out from the production department, or the finance department will have to ask the production department about the budget that they need. So for this purpose, what is called as horizontal communication happens, which is at the same level between different departments. Now, sometimes when such kinds of questions arises which are interdepartmental, and again the same level people will have to ask their boss, that is they may have to ask the president, then at such point of time a lot of time is wasted. So in many open organizations, even diagonal communication is allowed, where the vice president or the manager of one department will talk to the boss of another department, or the manager of one department or the supervisor of one department may talk to the leader of another department, so that the issue is solved immediately. So this is how the flow of communication happens in the organization, and this is what is something which happens in a formal structure. Now let us see what are the informal channel, or they are also called the grapevine. Now the informal channel or grapevines happens in the organizations because of various reasons. First reason is that people with like-mindedness may come together to share their views with each other. Secondly, when people are not very happy in the organization, or when some kind of recession is going on in the organization, in order to find out the correct information or gather information from different places, people tend to make groups which can be interdepartmental. So, informal channels or the grapevines are actually non-directional, and they are not only limited to one department or one vertical of an organization. It can spread over the organization, throughout the organization. It can be at different levels, and it can be with anyone. Now, what are the advantages of grapevine? So, the first advantage of grapevine channel is that it carries information very fast. Why it carries the information very fast? Because here the channel is not formal. The reason why the grapevines form is that they get along with each other and they are like-minded. So for that purpose, the sharing of the knowledge is also very free and fast. So in the grapevines, the information travels very fast. The second advantage is that the managers get to know the reactions of their subordinates. Now in the formal channel or in the formal structure, the subordinates may not give their real response to the policies or to the decisions that the management is taking. But in the grapevine, which is informal, the subordinates tend to share their true feelings or true responses about certain things, about the management or the policies or the system. So through grapevine, the managers get to know their reactions and they can accordingly work in the organization. The third advantage of grapevine is that it creates a sense of unity. So people feel they all are together, and whenever there is a sense of unity, there is motivation. The fourth advantage is that it serves as an emotional supporting value. And lastly, the informal channel is a supplement when the formal communication doesn't work. So in the organizations, it is very true that there may come a lot of situations or kinds of communication which will fail when it is done through formal channel. Formal channel doesn't work always. So at such point of time, informal channels are used. Now let us see what are the disadvantages of the informal channels or the grapevine. Now the first disadvantage is that the information may be partial because it is not official. So whatever people come to know, they may just pass it on. Secondly, sometimes the information may not be trustworthy because everyone will say according to their own understanding. So the information may turn out to be wrong. Thirdly, productivity may be hampered because of the informal channels. Whenever there are grapevines in the organization, people get together and do a lot of gossips, and this may affect the productivity. So definitely, we have already seen that gossips are treated as healthy, and again we know that the informal channel is also good for the organization, but at the same time, when something is done beyond the limit, then the productivity is hampered. Also, grapevine may lead to hostility because there may be people of opposing thoughts, and they may share different things, and there may create a hostility among the employees of the organizations. And lastly, it also hampers the goodwill of the organization. Now let us see what are the different business communication channels. So in all, we have 3 channels of communication: the oral communication, the written communication, and the electronic communication. So in organizations, communication can be done in different manner. Now first of all, why do we do oral communication? So oral communication is required and it is necessary and effective just because number 1, it is easier to be done. Number 2, it takes less time. Number 3, the non-verbal communication is added like the body language and the paralinguistics. So for all these things, oral communication becomes very effective and very easy to use. So whenever any short communication is to be done, then you may do oral communication. Now whether to do oral communication or written communication will depend on different things. But first of all, what are different ways in which we communicate orally in the organization? So we communicate face to face, on the telephone, in the meetings, seminars, workshops. We may have the video conferencing, the presentations, and many different ways where we can do oral communication. Now coming to the written communication, it is equally important in the organizations. Though written communication doesn't have the advantage of body language, but still it is required. Why? Because whenever we need proofs and records for future references, then written communication is used. Also, when communication is very long, then it cannot be done through oral communication. Or when a communication involves a lot of diagrams or graphs or charts, then only written communication is possible. So, what different kinds of written communications are used in the organization? So, the most frequently used written communication nowadays in the organizations is email. Then we also do text messages as official messages. Then there are business letters, technical reports, technical proposals, notices, then there are circulars, then there are newspaper advertisements. All of these are different types of written communication. Now the third type of communication channel that is widely being used these days is the electronic communication. Now electronic communication has become very easy to use and you can include as many people as possible in the electronic communication. So the examples of electronic communication are through the text messages, through the video conferencing, or through online meetings, online videos, or through the blogs, etc. You can do electronic communication. So these are the different channels which are available in the organizations, and how effectively the organization can communicate based on various dynamics of the organization, various channels of the organization, and the requirements of the organization. It varies from organization to organization, and every organization must select the best channels and the best method of communicating so that they don't waste a lot of time in communication and they can always do effective communication. So I hope you have understood the importance of communication in group behavior.